welcome back to Wild and Free Art. So today we are going to finally bind the signatures into my Christmas journal. I have already prepared the signatures. I've removed all of the ephemera bits that were in it, and I have clipped everything into position. So all I need to do is punch the holes and do the binding, and then I can put everything back into it. So I have decided that I am going to do a multicolored binding for this one to get more of the feeling from the season. And I've gone for, as soon as I can get to it, sorry, I don't have much of a workspace. I've gone for green, red, and I've got this kind of golden yellow color because I've used quite a few gold elements in here and gold bits. I thought it would be kind of a nice imitation gold type thing. So this is going to be a crisscross type binding, more like diamond crisscross binding, but it's going to look really funky because of the three colors. So it's a little bit different. I am using embroidery floss, and even though my Posca pen exploded while I was doing the holes, this is my template for binding. So I have 5 signatures. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I'm going to be punching 7 holes that are equally spaced. I will be doing a up-down binding on the middle signature, and then crisscrossing the second and fourth, and the first and the fifth, using a different color for each section. So now everything starts as per usual. So first I am going to wax my embroidery thread because this isn't bookbinding thread. So I'm just going to give it a wax. This is just a bit of old candle where I put boiling water in the candle and the wax comes to the top, and then you can reuse the wax. Saves you getting beeswax and whatnot. And this one smells like watermelon, so it smells really nice. Waxing your embroidery floss makes it so it doesn't get tangled as easily, and because these are quite long pieces that I'm using, I want to be sure that that doesn't happen as much as possible. If you're using regular bookbinding thread that's already waxed, then you obviously do not need to do this part. Okay. So the next thing I'm going to do is punch the holes in my spine. I'm just gonna move these. The chaos is real, people. It really is. So in order to punch, I am going to just put this piece of foam packaging underneath my spine. Get my awl, my pokey tool. Get my little thing, and with a pencil, I'm going to write which way is up so that I make sure that I do that for all of them. And then you can clip it into place. I am being cautious and also clipping it into place. I think it's probably a good idea so it doesn't move around. So I am just going to punch my holes as good as I can, considering the mess I made. Okay. And that's these holes punched, so I can put that aside. Now I can repeat in my signatures. So we're going to start with the middle signature. So I'm just going to thread my needle. You don't need to use a curved one, but I just find I enjoy curved ones more for some reason. So you have to make sure that your signatures are either numbered, labeled, or you can actually remember which one is which. So I'm doing this and I'm taking this one. I'm going to leave it here. I'm going to take my book and I am going to actually just clip my end papers here. They don't flop around while I'm trying to sew everything. So make sure you are all lined up, and then you start from the bottom hole or the top, it doesn't really matter. Leave a tail because you're going to need it to tie off, and then go through the matching hole in your spine. Okay, you're going to go up into the next one, and basically we're doing a running stitch all the way up, and then we're going to turn around and do a running stitch all the way back. I need to be careful because having used pages from a previous book, I need to be sure that I go into the hole that I've punched for this binding and not the original ones. There we go. Okay, so now before we go back down, so we're going to basically sew these gaps in. We're going to put the thread in between these gaps. You're going to want to make sure everything is tightened, not too loose, especially here because of course you've played with it all. So you want to kind of do that, and then give that one a good pull. Because now when you run through, you're basically making sure everything is going to be, you're like setting it in. So now you're going to go back through the hole straight down, and hopefully you can make your way straight into the hole in the spine and come out without catching the thread. Yes, we've done it. So that is how it's going to look. So now you're going to just basically keep going. So now you're going to go through this hole, back out through the spine, pull, and into the next one. Okay, now we are on our last one. Make sure everything is tight, and then you can tie off your signature. Now we have our first middle signature bound in. So now we are going to work on signature 2 and signature 4. So you have to choose what color you want. I'm going to go with green. Thread your needle if you can. Oh my Lord. Obviously I don't have my glasses with me. Okay, there we go. Okay, so now you're going to take signature 4 and signature 2. Going to place one in the front where it's supposed to be and one in the back where it's supposed to be. And we're going to do the same thing, except this time we're crisscrossing between one signature and the other to make X's. So you're going to go into your first one. Once you find it, there it is. Totally not the right one. Gonna leave a tail. You're gonna go through this hole, so the one next to the middle one, that corresponds with your signature. Okay, oops, not too much. Okay. Then you're going to cross over the middle one and go to the next one for signature 2. So basically we are working on the ones next to the middle one. So you go through that. Make sure you go through your second hole here, not the first, because we have to match it up. And make sure, obviously, that you are in the correct one, because I think I'm going through one of the old ones. Okay, there it is. There we go. Old sewing station. Okay. Now you go up one to your next hole. Through the corresponding hole in your spine. Okay, you're gonna cross over and you're gonna go to the next one on the other side of the center one. Okay, and you're gonna go back into signature 4. Okay, and you're going to want to make sure that you go to the corresponding hole in your signature as well. Then up one. Out the hole on the spine. Okay, then again across and over to the next one on the second signature. Okay, through the corresponding hole. And out through the top last one. Okay, and out through that hole. Okay, now before going back down to finish the crosses, it's a good time to make sure that your signatures are up the right way and that you're using the right ones and that everything is as it should be. And that you've tightened everything as best you can onto the spine. So now we're going to go down, and then we're going to go up, and then we're going to go down. So now we're going back down to this one. In through the appropriate hole. I think you get the idea now. rid of any knots that are trying to form. Okay, and then you're going to go back across to your second signature and the next step there. Okay, down to the next one. Okay, and back down here through that one. Okay, now you can give this a tie off. You cut. Then we're going to basically want to repeat the same thing, but we're going to start with this signature. So you're going to want to pull that, and you're going to want to go through your first hole, out through here, and we're going to make our X's again. So you're going to just tighten, leave a tail. Okay, you're going to cross and go into the next one. Okay. Okay, then you're going to go up the next one, through the spine. You see how we have our X's now? Okay, you're going to go across to the next step. This one. Go up your next step, out through your spine. I think you've got the idea now. Okay. We're going to do your next X here. And up, and then we're going to make our way back down to close it off just like we did for the first one. Okay, and we're going to go back into the first here. Into the next one. Out the spine. Okay, crisscross into this one. Ooh, I'm getting close to the end. Let's hope we make it. Out this one, it's the last one. And the last one. And now you can tie it off. And now I am just going to close up the envelope because it will make it easier without all these things sticking out for the next ones. But basically the next signature is, this next two signatures are going to be sewn in exactly the same way. So far we have 3 signatures. Now we get to take your red or whatever color you've chosen. We're going to repeat working on signature 1 and signature 5. Position them into your book and begin. Then this time you're going to go all the way across to the other side here. And that's where you're going to go in. Okay, again, now that you've reached the top, check that everything is as it should be and tighten anything that needs tightening. Okay, so now that everything is as it should be, we're going to work our way back down again. Going to pull tight and tie it off. Okay. Okay, go back to your other signature and repeat. Up, down, up. And work your way back down, completing these X's. That is it. And tie it off. I made it to the very end just barely, but we've done it. Okay, that's it. And that is your multicolored spine. I think it comes out looking really kind of cool. And it just adds a nice finishing touch to it. It's just a simple crisscross pattern, but it's amazing what you can do when all you need to do is just change the colors, and it changes it completely. So I hope that you've enjoyed today's video. Let me know what you think in the comments below. And hopefully, if you like my content, you can give me a subscribe. That would be amazing. And maybe even share it with people you think who might find me interesting. In the meantime, I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Happy creating. Bye-bye.